Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. Truth does matter. You can find us on television, channel 182, on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. It's the Newscasters Studio. Again, thank you so much for watching. We're going to talk about conflict. I mean, it can happen anywhere. Where there are two people, somewhere down the line, even the best of friends can run into conflict, into situations. So let's go ahead and talk about that. And a little bit just about understanding conflict and how we can handle it. I found just my own personal thing. You know, you're always going to have some family members you don't get along with. And so my best thing I've learned to do is just to walk away from it. And it's not worth arguing. It's not worth any of that stuff. Just walk away and move on to the next thing. That's what I would say. That would be what I would say you need to do. Okay, so what is conflict? Okay, now this is in a website. I frequent this one a lot. It's helpguide.org. Lots of great situations out there. I agree with almost 90% of what they put out here, but this is a good one. So what is conflict? Conflict is a normal part of any healthy relationship. It's always going to be that way. After all, two people can't be expected to agree on everything all the time. The key is not to fear or try to avoid conflict, but learn how to resolve it in a healthy way. Now, when conflict is mismanaged, it can cause great harm to a relationship. But when handled in a respectful, positive way, conflict provides an opportunity to strengthen the bond between two people. Whether you're experiencing conflict at home, school, work, learning these skills can help you resolve differences in a healthy way and build stronger, more rewarding relationships. What I found from my 64 years on earth is to pick my own battles. And I don't let people pick them for me. So if I see it's a situation it's just not going to be resolved, there's no need in keeping on with it. I mean, just move on, do something else. Okay, so let's talk about conflict 101. Okay, so conflict is more than just a disagreement. It's a situation in which one or both parties perceive a threat, whether or not the threat is real. Somebody's always going to sometimes just the way you say something, the way you pronounce a particular word in a sentence can cause an issue. Now, here's the second one. Conflicts continue to fester when ignored because conflicts involve perceived threats to our well-being and survival. They stay with us until we face and resolve them. It depends also on how persistent the other person is. I found if I see that they see a particular situation in a particular way, I'm not going to be able to change it. I'll just look at them and go, okay, you're right, and then just walk off. It's the best thing to do. Believe me, you'll live a few years longer if you'll do that. Okay, here's the third one. We respond to conflicts based on our perceptions of the situation, not necessarily an objective review of the facts. Our perceptions are influenced by our life experiences. Our culture brings a lot into it, values, and our beliefs. Now, conflicts trigger strong emotions. If you aren't comfortable with your emotions or able to manage them in times of stress, you won't be able to resolve conflict successfully. And here's the last one. Conflicts are an opportunity for growth. When you're able to resolve conflict in a relationship, it does build trust. You can feel secure knowing your relationship can survive challenges and disagreements. Okay, so this is what happened. We have the birthday club. And, you know, part of the birthday club is people on our show and on the station, people can actually, win restaurant certificates and that kind of thing. Well, there was a miscommunication that happened somehow because in restaurants nowadays, it's a different world because restaurants are losing employees like crazy. A few people are having to do the job of many people. In some cases, in a restaurant, your server is actually doing the job of 3 people, not just one. And so it makes it kind of difficult, and it's really tough on the manager or the general manager or the owner who is running the restaurant. So we had one of our listeners actually won a gift certificate to a particular restaurant. Well, he gets there, and the employees are acting like they don't know what he's talking about. So he sends me a message, and I say the thing is I'm understanding on both parties. I understand he's frustrated because he thinks he's getting a $20 gift certificate, but I also understand that there are new people there. I'm assuming, which is what's happening nowadays, and also understand the management part, the person who is managing this restaurant, because they're running their eyeballs out as well, trying to keep everything smooth. And guess what? It's right in the middle of Christmas season. I mean, it was like close to New Year's Day within the next day or so. So everybody's frustrated. So anyway, the best thing I could do, always make sure I have the personal cell phone number of all of my sponsors. That way, if something arrives, I don't have to wait, I don't have to call, be put on hold forever. They know that the only time I'm calling them, I'm not calling them to shoot the breeze. The only time I'm going to call is if there is a situational problem. So I went on ahead and got in contact with and I didn't tell him he was wrong. I didn't yell at him. He was upset. Of course he was. I would have been too. And so the best thing to do was, tell him I'm working on it. And I stopped what I was doing too now. I had to stop what I was doing and going ahead and take care of that right away. Now, if I'd waited an hour, everybody would have been mad. I had to take care of it then. So I went ahead and got in contact with the general manager. And then, of course, she had it straightened out and it was all okay. But anyway, sometimes conflicts come because you brush it off. You think, well, it's not really a problem with the person. But in their mind, and in all cases, it is. It is a situation. And a minute can seem like an hour of response time. So again, the quicker you work on a situation, the better. And you folks who are working customer service and people who own the company, you need to put that into the training program for your employees. They need to show that they are as into the problem as the customer is. That doesn't mean that the customer is always right. But what helps, and this can be a problem with your business. If you're knowing the business is slowing down some, it could be you have some employees out there who are not taking their job serious. And also these employees are probably not taking care of your customers the way the customer needs to be thought of. I know we're in a new world, but I'm just telling you the old principles still work. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about causes of conflicts in a relationship. And I've got time to get started on some of these, and then we'll go into a commercial break. So conflicts arise from differences, both large and small. And even if it's a small, you think it's just a little small problem, you got to remember that the other person, it's a big problem. Okay, so you need to treat it that way. It occurs when people disagree over their values, motivations, perceptions, ideas, or desires. Sometimes these differences appear trivial. It's no big deal. But when a conflict triggers strong feelings, a deep personal need is often at the core of the problem. Now, these needs can range from the need to feel safe and secure or respected or valued to the need of greater closeness and intimacy. Now, think about the opposing needs of a toddler and a parent. The child's need is to explore, so venturing to the street or the cliff edge meets that need. But the parent what they need to do is protect the child's safety, a need that can only be met by limiting the toddler's exploration. Since these needs are at odds, guess what? Conflicts are going to arise. The needs of each party play an important role in the long-term success of a relationship. Each deserves respect and consideration. In personal relationships, a lack of understanding about differing needs can result in distance, arguments, and breakups. In the workplace, differing can also result in broken deals, decreased profits, and lost jobs. Now, when you can recognize conflicting needs and you're willing to examine them with compassion and understanding, it leads to a creative problem solving, team building, and stronger relationships. Now, let's see what the licensed therapist says about this. Again, helpguide.org. BetterHelp is an online therapy service that matches you needs their licensed and accredited therapist, and they can deal with you. So go to helpneed.org if you're running into an issue of any kind, and let's see what they can do for you. But my deal about, especially businesses, I don't care how small someone thinks that issue is, If that customer thinks it's an issue, it's an issue. So let me tell you what I used to do. And folks, I know it sounds old-fashioned and you're young out there and you're on a job, but let me tell you how you can be successful with a company. You don't have to have the biggest degree in the world. All it takes is a little bit of compassion. So what would happen, and especially now, you could be the hero if you're a small company. You could be the hero, and you can take all the business away from some of the big businesses. All you've got to do, let's just pretend it's a cell phone company. I know this because I had a lot of years experience in cell phones. So when a customer, and even then, even back in that day, customer service was horrible. So what I would tell all of my customers, I would say, this is my cell phone number right here. Keep this card handy. If you're running into an issue, please get in contact with me. If I'm with a customer, I'll call you just as soon as I leave the meeting. And I made that up front with them too, because every minute you don't return that call again, it's going to seem like an hour to the customer who's having an issue. So I'd always say that. So I learned to call customer service myself. So if let's say somebody had a billing issue, I would just say, don't call customer service. You wait until I can get there. Well, I came to the rescue, and it gave me so much credibility because I really cared. And I know what it's like calling customer service. And when you're put on hold, it seems much longer than it really is. So I would say, you just hold on to it. Keep that bill there. And now if I told them I was going to be there at 10 o'clock, I was there at 10. Or if I saw I was running late and they got a traffic jam or whatever like that, I would call them and say, look, I told you I was going to be there at 10. I'm in a traffic jam. I'll get there just as soon as I can. People respect that you care enough to give them a call. They're going to wait on you when you do things like that. It's old-fashioned, but it works. So anyway, I would get there, and I would say, let me have that bill. And then I would look at the bill. I would be quiet. I might ask a couple of questions. And then I would call customer service myself. And then I would be chatting with them while I was on hold, because I knew it was going to be on hold a while anyway. And people thought I had this, number no one else had just because I worked for the company. I didn't. I had to call the same customer service number they did. But here's what I would do. I'd go on ahead because I was prepared to be put on hold for a while. Then I would ask my questions to the customer. And I would say, now right here, this is back in the old days when you had to pay for the minutes. And I would say, now look, I see right here you talk for a minute and a second. You know that means 2 minutes. And they would say, oh, I didn't realize that. I thought I was watching my... And I would say, yeah, looking right here at the bill, looks like you may have talked that many minutes. Then I would call and I would say, look, this customer has been with us for 2 years. Can we give them some kind of a break? Usually because I was the one, I had a mild manner about myself. I talked to customer service. Sometimes I could get, even if it was only a $5 credit, it meant the world to that customer. So again, it's old-fashioned, but it works even in today's time. Let's go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
My Towels solved a problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
mypillow.com.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for 2 or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Okay, we are back. We're talking about conflict. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. And this is where truth matters. Experiences, this is the neat thing about being my age, is I've been through a lot of stuff. Do I know it all? I'm never going to know it all. But I have learned things the hard way, and I've learned that sometimes dealing with conflict is just let the other fella think they're right. And it'll save you a lot of shoe leather and a lot of headache and a lot of worry in the long run. If you see you can't get them to see your way, then it's the best thing to do, especially when you're dealing with family members, which seems to be where most of the problems come up. Okay, now, how do you respond to conflict? How do you do it? Okay, do you fear conflict or do you avoid it at all costs? I don't fear it at all. It's just that I've learned some battles are just not worth winning. I mean, you move on and you go to other things. And if you're worried about what people think about you, I have to mention this to myself every single day. If you're worried that the other party is going to be talking down about you and, you know, spreading rumors and that kind of thing, all I can say, if people believe it, they're not worth having in your group of friends anyway. So just let it go. And eventually they will see. I mean, they will. I promise you that. It seems bleak, but it will happen. Now, do you fear conflict or do you avoid it at all costs? If your perception of conflicts comes from painful memories from early childhood or previous unhealthy relationships, you may expect all disagreements to end badly. You may view conflict as demoralizing, humiliating, or something to fear. Now, if your early life experience has left you feeling powerless or out of control, conflict may even be traumatizing for you. Now, if you're afraid of conflict, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. Let's talk about this. So when you enter a conflict situation feeling already threatened, it's tough to deal with the problem at hand in a healthy way. Instead, you're more likely to either shut down or blow up in anger. Okay, so let's talk. I've got a chart right here. Healthy and unhealthy ways of managing and resolving conflict. Okay, so let's talk about the unhealthy responses to conflict. Unhealthy would be an inability to recognize and respond to things that matter to the other person. Now, the healthy response would be the capacity to empathize with the other person's viewpoint. Okay, now unhealthy response, explosive, angry, hurtful, and resentful reactions. Now, what's the healthy response? The healthy response would be calm, non-defensive, and respectful reactions. Okay, now an unhealthy response to conflict would be the withdrawal of love, resulting in rejection, isolation, shaming, and fear of abandonment. Now here's the healthy response: a readiness to forgive and forget, and to move past the conflict without holding resentments or anger. Okay, now what is an unhealthy response to an inability to compromise or see the other person's side? Here's the healthy response: the ability to seek compromise and avoid punishing. You know what? If somebody is trying to give you a hard time about something, you don't even know what the hard time is. It's a problem they have, actually. It's really nothing to do with you. It's some kind of a deep emotion they have. So just understanding that can help a lot, and that can go a long way. Now, unhealthy, feeling fearful or avoiding conflict, expecting a bad outcome. Okay, here's the healthy response: a belief that facing conflict head on is the best thing for both sides. Now, am I talking about just hammering it over and over and over again? No. Had a conflict issue with a relative, and so head on, I tried to go ahead and get this thing straightened out. And it's just not, I couldn't get them to even listen to what I had to say. So the only thing I could do is just say, I love you. And then I just left and I just moved on. So, and when I hear things that have been said, I just go, I love her. That's all I can say. Okay, now let's talk about the ability to successfully resolve conflict. And that depends on your ability and my ability to manage stress quickly while remaining alert and calm. If you get really mad and all frustrated, you can't think. I know I can't. And so I need all those healthy brain cells I can develop. So by staying calm, you can accurately read and interpret verbal and nonverbal communication. If somebody's sitting there with you and they're doing this and they're yelling and they're screaming, you're not going to get over that. Best thing to do is just look at them and just back away. Okay, now control your emotions and behavior. When you're in control of your emotions, you can communicate your needs without threatening, intimidating, or punishing others. There's no point in that. Okay, the third one is pay attention to the feelings being expressed as well as the spoken words of others. Listen to those things. And then here's one: be aware of and respect differences. Now, by avoiding disrespectful words or actions, you can almost always resolve a problem faster. Now, to successfully resolve a conflict, you need to learn and practice two core skills. These are extremely important. Number one is quick release, the quick stress relief, the ability to quickly relieve stress in the moment. Take a deep breath. Now, I know there are situations where you think you're going to melt. It's like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And you're in shock with some of the things that can happen. Just grip. Okay, just hold on a grip. Don't yell back. Just don't. It never works. Number 2, emotional awareness. The ability to remain comfortable through enough with your emotions to react in constructive ways, even in the midst of a perceived attack. Now let's talk about that core 1 skill, quick stress relief. Being able to manage and relieve stress in the moment is the key to staying balanced, focused, and in control no matter what challenges you face. If you don't know how to stay centered and in control of yourself, you will become overwhelmed in conflict situations and unable to respond in healthy ways. Okay, so psychologist Connie Lilas uses a driving analogy to describe the 3 most common ways people respond when they're overwhelmed by stress. Foot on the gas. Okay, now an angry or agitated stress response. You're heated, you're keyed up, you're overly emotional and unable to sit still. Foot on the brake. A withdrawn or depressed stress response. You shut down, you space out, and show very little energy or emotion. Now, foot on both gas and brakes. A tense or frozen stress response. You freeze under pressure and you can't do anything. You look paralyzed, but under the surface, you're extremely agitated. I really do believe when you're in this moment, I believe you can have heart attacks, you can have strokes. I believe cancer is brought on by stuff like this. I just do. Okay, now, how stress affects conflict resolution. Okay, so stress interferes with the ability to resolve conflict by limiting your ability to accurately read another person's body language. Their body language says it all. They don't have to say a word. Hear what someone is really saying. Be aware of your own feelings. Be in touch with your own deep-rooted needs. Communicate your needs clearly. Now, is stress a problem for you? You may be so used to feeling stressed that you're not even aware you're stressed. Stress may pose a problem in your life if you identify the following. If you often feel tense or tight somewhere in your body, it could be anywhere. It could be the way you hold your fist like that all the time. You're not even aware you're doing it. You're not aware of movement in your chest or your stomach when you breathe. Conflict absorbs your time and attention. So let's learn how to manage stress in the moment. One of the most reliable ways to rapidly reduce stress is by engaging one or more of your senses. That could be sight, sound, taste, smell, and touch, or through movement. You could squeeze a stress ball. You can smell a relaxing scent. I keep a lot of candles going here, my favorite scents. Taste a soothing cup of tea, or look at a treasured photograph. Whatever it is with you, whatever your thing is. We all tend to respond differently to sensory input, often depending on how we respond to stress. So take some time to find out things that are soothing to you. Okay, there's also, we're going to make another show out of this one because I have some more responses. And this is going to help us all because we're all in a stress world right now. If you're stressed just from watching the news on television, you need to watch this right here, the next segment we have. But thank you again so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth definitely matters. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Hope you have a super duper awesome blessed day today. Segment 2 is going to come up shortly. Take care.